Hi friends, it's Angie. I just want to make a video, and it's probably not the perfect one, but the title is MKUltra, Mind Control, Mental Controller. That is the German spelling from World War II, from Nazi experiments. Mental Controller, Kontrolle. That's where the term MK comes from. And so MKUltra, medical abuse and mad cow disease. Primarily I want to share a video by Jana Benoon, a Hungarian who escaped communism, and the wife of a Jew who realised that the narrative about Israel and the reclaiming of the land and so on was false. Stephen Benoon. So let me just stay focused. This is not the way I wanted to do it, but I've done other work already. So MKUltra, mad cow disease. What was the second part? So sorry, I'm dissociating. But anyway, let me talk about the mad cow disease. Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease, which is alleged to be a part of the new vaccines. Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease is what was called mad cow disease a few years ago, particularly in the UK. And bizarrely, even though I didn't donate blood very often, but I was once or twice subjected to the sort of propaganda, like, go give blood, you know, you're doing a good thing, you're helping other people stay alive. So once or twice I went to give blood, and then a strange thing happened. I've lived in 7 countries on 3 continents. I grew up in the Royal Air Force as a child of somebody in the Royal Air Force for 25 years. But a lot of my childhood was in the UK. Well, Germany, Gibraltar, but also the UK. And it was amazing to me that suddenly I couldn't donate blood because I had lived in the UK during the alleged mad cow disease outbreak. So it was something in the 80s, it was like in the 80s, and the thing I got was saying, because you lived in the UK from, 1981 to when I emigrated to America in 85, you can no longer donate blood because of the risk of mad cow disease, Creutzfeldt-Jakob, which is alleged to be in the new vaccines, and prion, it's connected to prion. I'm going to share a link from Jana and Deborah Tavares. Now, bear in mind, Deborah went to Pepperdine Christian University in, what do you call it? Los Angeles, like, you've got, wow. Anyway, it begins with M, but I'm not fully confident in Pepperdine University. But this Deborah Tavares and another alumni of that university, Santa Monica, and then we're talking, begins with an M. Can't remember. it'll be so simple when it comes back. But Pepperdine University, but this graduate says he's dying of prion disease, mad cow disease. And so I was told I couldn't give blood anymore, simply because I've been resident in the UK during the mad cow disease outbreak. But I doubt that everybody else got told the same thing. I think it's because I was already tagged. And I have a theory that I want to share. So it's MKUltra. Yeah, medical abuse and mad cow disease. So I just want to document that I've been horrendously brutalised by the medical health, you know, in England, in you know, in different countries. So, for instance, when I gave birth to my second child in 1994, I gave birth, and then my Disney husband left after I'd given birth, left the hospital, Ipswich, and went home because he had work the next day. And but he left me, and I nearly bled to death. I was left bleeding out on a table. I lost 5 units of blood, and the body only holds 8, so I almost bled to death. And then, before they left me bleeding out, I'd been given a local anaesthetic in my birthing area, my vagina, in order to be stitched to stop this bleeding out. And then the doctor, surgeon, registrar, whoever he was, allegedly got called away to another emergency birth of twins. So I got anaesthetised after my husband had left, and I'd given birth safely to Josh, but I had torn very badly and was bleeding very badly. So I was anaesthetised, ready to be stitched. And then the registrar went off to another emergency. So I was left in the labour room with a lovely nurse, bleeding out, you know. And then after about 3 or 4 hours, this registrar surgeon came back, and the nurse midwife had been phoning hysterically, saying, she's dying on the table. She is bleeding out. You need to get back here now. So after about 3 or 4 hours, this registrar surgeon came back in Ipswich Hospital, and he was annoyed, and she was giving him hell. And he stitched me up, gives a whole new meaning to the word, without anaesthetic. He didn't renew the anaesthetic. It was more painful. It was like, sorry to be graphic, but if you imagine somebody putting a needle and thread through your clitoris, vagina, whatever you want to, it was more painful than childbirth. I screamed and screamed. And the more I screamed, the more angry he got. And when he'd finished and he left, I was in such distress that the nurse midwife, and I just prayed by some miracle that she would see this. She was so devastated for me. She said, if you want a witness, if you want to sue, if you want to take action, I will back you 100%, even if it costs me my job. She was just awesome. She She was just wonderful. I never did sue. I never did. You know, I was just glad to survive. But the agony, and then it wasn't over. He had stitched me without anaesthetic because he'd done a local anaesthetic injection hours earlier, and then didn't renew it or check it. And so for about 3 days afterwards, I couldn't pee, I couldn't walk, I was in agony. And so they said to me, right, okay, you need to go to a convalescent hospital. So they sent me from Ipswich Hospital to a convalescent hospital in Ely in Cambridgeshire or something, I don't know, for a week. And finally, when somebody listened to me, I said, I can't urinate, I can't walk, I can't, like I'm in agony. They finally got me examined, and the words of the surgeon were, you have been trussed up like a turkey. I had been so stitched together, I couldn't urinate, I couldn't walk. So they did surgery to undo that. I still have scars. And unlike Kathy O'Brien, I'm not willing to show them. Kathy O'Brien showed the horrific abuse that she had medically, and apparently, allegedly, Hillary Clinton loved it. So I'm certainly not going to demonstrate the evidence of being trussed up like a turkey after a traumatic birth. And that's not the, like, I've had multiple malicious, catastrophic medical assaults. I think I've documented in 2014 how I went in for a simple keyhole surgery, minor bowel resection, and ended up, it changed my life, it destroyed my life. They went from keyhole to open to sending me home open with the most horrific, I've got photos, they trigger me still. And then 10 months later, after 10 months of agony, another hospital did corrective surgery and testified what had happened at the Mater. You know, but then, you know, I didn't get justice, but that's not the point. I'm telling you that if you are labelled from birth, if you are a targeted individual, it will be on your medical records, and you will have a target on your forehead every time you go in for what you think is a simple procedure. They will try and kill you, in my opinion. I recovered. I recovered, but I've aged 20 years since that last medical assault. So it's MKUltra, medical assaults, and mad cow disease. So that's the other thing I want to document. Yeah, I told you at the beginning that they told me, you can't donate blood anymore because you were in the UK during the 80s when mad cow disease broke out. Mad cow disease is Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, is connected to the COVID 1984 vaccines, prion disease. And please please listen to the video. What you need to do, because they're very heavily censored on YouTube. Yana, now I don't agree with everything Yana Nunes says, but her research on the COVID is phenomenal. And the link to Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. I just want to say that, like, I've aged 10, 20 years since the last medical assault, and I see the same in other truthers. I'm going to call some names out. I see aging phenomenally. I see, what's her name? You know, what's her name? The one from Morocco. She helped me. I see multiple truthers aging, weight gaining, fluid retaining, and to me it's targeting. It's not just a normal progression of aging. It's some kind of EMF. I'm trying to remember her name. Tivon is her husband. I can't remember her first name. That's just a disconnect. But anyway, there's huge weight gain, there's fluid retention, there's phenomenal aging, and it could well be Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, or EMF targeting. Sorry, this is a bit off. Yeah, it's not really. This is MKUltra, medical abuse, which I have so much evidence. I'm not going to show you. I've got dents in my leg, black and blue arms, like scars, unexplained scars, and 60-pound weight gain, the anomalies. And I just listened to Yana Benoon and Deborah Tavares talking about Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. So if you're interested more than this, please listen to the full show. It's like, I'll link the YouTube, but in the YouTube description is a link to the full show on iConnect or something like that. Please listen to it. It's shocking. And I'm onto something here. I just wit Naima, Hope Girl, Terry Joyce and myself, and probably many others, have aged and weight gained and blown up as targeted individuals in the last 5 years, off the scale. And I just refer you to Tory. There was a wonderful, wonderful whistleblower. Now, he was a bit out there. He did remote viewing and all the rest of it. Tory, I can't remember his last name, Smith, Tory Smith. And you saw him age before your eyes. He was so targeted. He was doing, allegedly, remote viewing and so on. He was so targeted, he just died in front of your face. A bit like Dave McGowan. When Dave McGowan of Programmed to Kill and Weird Scenes in the Canyon, when he said he had, out of nowhere, contracted a rampant, raging cancer, he died in 6 months in front of your eyes. I'm not going to die because I believe Jesus heals. But this is going on. This is going on. So please watch the video with anyway. That is so strange. That is so strange. Deborah Tavares and the wife of Steve, Yana Benoon. Okay. All right, love you guys. Pray. Jesus heals. This is what annoys them. I've gone into hospital and nearly died so many times. I've had surgeons come to my hospital bed afterwards, almost shaking to know what God did I serve. How did I pull through? All right, love you.